Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Today we're going to talk about this tool here. This is the Ryobi P320 18 gauge brad nailer with the airstrike technology. A few brief specifications on this gun. This will shoot 18 gauge brads from 5/8 to 2 inches long. It comes with a 3-year warranty, which is pretty darn good. Obviously it is part of the Ryobi 1 Plus 18 volt battery system, which obviously its big benefit is there's no air compressor attached to this thing. It has a toolless jam correcting feature, so you don't need any tools to open this thing up if you get a jam. It also has a safety measure where the last 5 nails in every clip don't fire, which gets you out of that issue where the last nail kind of jams up in there. At the end you get a bunch of little 5-nail clips that I haven't tried this yet, but I imagine you could load all those up in the gun and fire them off. I don't know what they'll do. I will try that and put a note at the bottom once I get enough of them. It is equipped, as you can see, with LED lights that actually have their own switch. There are 2 switches here, the main trigger switch and this switch down here. This switch down here is for the LED lights. It has 2 methods of adjustments. This twist knob up here allows you to set the depth of the head. So this is the depth of the head. And this one back here adjusts the amount of air pressure it builds up. This is called airstrike technology, and honestly I don't know how the technology works, but it does make some air in here that fires the nail. And this is changing the amount of pressure. So in essence, in easy terms, you could set this thing all the way up, set your depth, it'll fire it at your depth, and then pare it back until you're still getting your depth. Once you don't get your depth, go back a little bit more, and you're set. It's pretty easy. It also comes with this switch right here, 2 operating modes. You can fire it in single shot mode, which in essence is exactly what you think it is. Let me make sure I'm in single shot. I am. So in single shot mode, you would press the tip, engage it, squeeze the trigger, and it fires. If you change this to continuous mode, or what we call bump mode, you can then squeeze the trigger, and when the trigger's squozen, interesting. There you go. When the trigger is squared, it will fire. So it will continuously fire. Ryobi's website says this thing will fire 60 nails a minute. I have no reason to believe that to be untrue. As you can see, this particle board here, the nails actually shot right through it, so I had it set up too high for particle board. But that's okay. I like this gun. Spoiler alert before I get any much farther into this. I think this is a great gun for somebody like me, a guy in a very small shop. I don't have room for a compressor up here, so to have this is a godsend. But I don't think this gun is for everybody, and I'm going to tell you why. There are 2, I don't want to call them negatives to this gun. What they are features of the gun that they have to do to make it be cordless, to be hoseless. The first one I think is pretty obvious. To put all that airstrike technology in there and to have a battery on the bottom of it, it's a big gun. Here's my Porter cable, 18 gauge brad nailer. So this fires the same brads that this fires. As you can see, it's considerably smaller, considerably narrowable, and it's 3 times less weight. It is literally a third the weight. So what does that mean to me, and why I think some people won't run to this gun? If you're a finish carpenter, a trim carpenter, I don't think you're going to want to carry this thing all day. It's heavy. I'm guessing you're going to, I'm guessing one, you already have this and a nice little small compressor and you're set. Now, does that mean every trim carpenter won't buy something like this? No. I mean, it's possible you might go out on punch day and you just got a couple of boards to do and you just throw this in your truck and take it out instead of having to roll out a bunch of cords, a bunch of hoses to get a compressor in to bang a few nails in. So it might be a good backup gun for little special project days. The other person that I think this probably isn't really uniquely for would be the guy that has the big shop. You know, if you're lucky enough to have a 3-bay garage, 100-gallon compressor, you know, and lines run to all your benches, and you're set, and you already got the air guns, do you need this? Probably not. I mean, you know, it's $100. Well, I paid $130 for it. It's been on sale on the Ryobi Day sale for $100. I have heard rumors that they're going to keep it at that price, which would be really nice. But for me, you know, a woodworker, what would we use this for? What do woodworkers do with brad nail guns? The first thing we would do is, let's say we want to put 2 pieces of wood together. We don't have time to clamp, we want to keep working. So you could take your 2 boards, and now you're working. You know, you can move on. You don't have to wait for the clamp to dry. That is probably the main use for a brad nailer for a woodworker. The other obvious use would be putting trim. You know, you build a bookcase, and you're going to put a little trim around, you know, a little egg and dart, a little, you know, whatever. You know, boom, boom, boom. The gun's heavy, but you can do a couple of pieces of trim, put it down, go on with your work, and then pick it up again. Now, the one other caveat to this gun, and again, it's a feature of having the airstrike technology inside of it, and I don't know if you could hear it there, so I'm going to do it again and see if you can hear it. It has what I would call a third, maybe a quarter of a second delay when it fires the gun. See if you can hear this. You hear that? Boom, boom. Do it again. That might drive a finish nailer crazy. It may not. I don't know. A finish nailer, a finish carpenter crazy. I don't do that for a living. You know, I use it just temporarily in here every now and again to do exactly what I just said. Doesn't drive me crazy at all. It's godsend for me because I get the compressor out of this small room. And that is its #1 feature. It does not need a compressor. That's the greatest benefit of this tool. So for me, I think it's a great tool. I highly recommend it, but just go with those caveats. I don't think it's for everybody. I think it's well built. I've already knocked it off this bench once. It smashed on the floor, rolled around, picked it up, still works fine. Don't even see a scuff on it. Now this is plastic, this green parts, but it's a hard. Well, I know something. It's a hard plastic. Now this is metal. This Porter cable. So you know it's. I don't know how many times I can knock it off the bench, but I have knocked it off the bench. I don't plan on knocking it on the bench off the bench every time I use it, so I hope that doesn't happen all the time. So again, this is one of those your mileage may vary tools. I think it's great. If you meet the criteria I meet, I think it's a great tool for you. You know, if you just don't bang a lot of brads, you don't have to get something like this. You know, you could use your trusty hammer and a couple of brads and bang them in every time you need to do it, and you know, people did that for years and it worked fine. So again, it's a great tool if you're in the market for it. I don't think it's for everybody, so you guys can decide if it's for you or not. Thanks again for watching, everybody. If you liked what I'm doing here, kind of share and like what I'm doing. I'm trying to get this built up a little bit. I got a few more videos coming out at the end of this week for you. I want to build a base for this bench finally, because I am not going to do any more work on this bench till it has a proper base, because it's kind of driving me crazy. And we're also going to build a wall cabinet for that wall there, actual real woodworking projects. I am also going to show you the 6.5-inch skill saw that I got from Ryobi on the Ryobi Days sale. I'll probably put that out in about 2 days. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Have a good day.